It's Thursday the 19th of December in the Vendée Globe, the skipper's 39th day at sea, and Charlie Dalin has been on the charge. We found out yesterday that one of the reasons he slowed a bit was due to some sail repairs he had to do, but he's describing the boat as back at 100%. The skippers are often reluctant to tell the other sailors what their problems are at the time, just so that they don't give them any kind of psychological advantage, but he is really moving now. We hear from a few of the skippers out on the water, Giancarlo Pedote, and also Bellion and Oliver Heer. We also then give you the tracker, the leaderboard, PredictWind options for Dalin, and also Sébastien, who is slightly further to the north. And then Sam Davies gives a message of support to Pip Hare, and we hear from Pip Hare out on her boat as she makes her way towards Melbourne, Australia.
So after 30 days at sea, I feel good. Of course, I'm tired, but like everybody. But in any case, everything is good. I'm in the rhythm of the race. Also, thanks to the remember of the previous Vendée Globe. But yeah, I think I'm doing a good job. Of course, my strategy in Canary was not so good, and I pay the price of that, but I hope that the race will be open again for me. And in any case, I'm pushing to stay ready and to catch my occasion if the God of the Southern Ocean like to give me another one. So yes, Cap Lewin is behind me, and so the Indian Ocean was strong. Not easy because the sea state was complicated with the waves high and with a short frequency, and what's not so easy to go fast with the foil because you accelerate and crash in the waves in front of you. Was a complicated exercise to find a good tuning of that. We have now to stay in front of this low pressure for take the maximum gain that we can, and then will be a complicated passage after Tasmania about the position of the ride that will be in the south of Zeda.
I'm feeling better because I slept the whole night. I was tired yesterday because yes, the sea state, the wind very changing yesterday. It was like, I don't know, between 15 knots and suddenly 30 knots with a very difficult sea. So at what point I decided to put the boat in French it's called mode mobilette. Very simple way, 2 reefs in the mainsail, throw on the front, and I decided to go to bed, and I slept. And I slept all the night. And I needed it, and so now I feel better. But for sure, the Indian Ocean is very tough this year, and we have to deal with it. It's life. It's the way sailors do. So we adapt, and I'm very happy to be still in the race. I was very sad for Shabby, for Pip recently. So I'm happy to sail through the Cap Lewin and keep sailing for the other half of the Vendée Globe. Really, my goal is to first to sail the Vendée Globe with the boat we built, we imagined, we created, we designed it, and this is the first challenge I have. Finished the Vendée Globe with this beautiful boat that I love so much. Yes, so I'm doing a good job of looking to myself, for sure. I slept a lot. Yes, I think I could do better. I could do better, for sure. I think I'm looking more after my boat than me, but yesterday I really saw that I was tired, and I didn't want to do other things than sleep, and because I know that I'm the first I'm the most important person on this boat. So yes, I really to take care of me. I manage the condition of the ocean by the first psychologically not trying to imagine that it could be better or it could be nicer for the boat or for me, that it's so unfair that we sail very difficult Indian Ocean this year. I'm not feeling this way, I'm not thinking this way. The Indian Ocean is a big ocean. He lives its own life. It's a very wild and tough ocean. We all know that, and we should be just very happy that he accepts us, and it's the way I do it. I'm very careful. We are already very audacious. Audacieux, I don't know. Maybe you will have to translate to come here and sail in those wild countries, wild ocean. And so if you have this audace and you put it with prudence, with carefulness, I think that you are very, very powerful. So I'm very careful.
All good here. Yes, after 38 days at sea, I'm actually feeling good. I think I'm managing the boat and myself quite well. It's not like I'm getting lower and lower and lower on energy. Neither does the boat. The boat's still in good nick with no major problem. What I could have done better, you never know. Hindsight is always a nice thing. I always consider pushing a little bit harder, but then with this comes the risk of damaging the boat. So that's the only thing, that I maybe could have pushed a little bit harder and had some sails up, some bigger sails up a bit longer. But the conditions were quite, as you say, quite brutal, and I think I managed it well in a way that I'm still in good nick. I feel good, and the boat is in good shape, and all my sails are still in good shape. So the conditions haven't been easy, but if you adjust the style of sailing, anything is really it's manageable, and you just have to kind of stay out of the eye of the storm. Quite often I put a wind limit in at 40 knots, meaning I maybe see 50 knots, but not more, and this kind of worked for me. The next couple of days, well, I have another, couple of days of big breeze ahead of me, but then once I pass kind of just off the Cape Lewin, I have one more big, very short but intense front coming through, and then it should weaken, which is very nice. The other thing that's really, really nice is the sea state. For the last 5 days, I had an average total wave height of over 6 meters, and the moment I kind of sail underneath Tasmania, it drops down to a fraction of this. So I'm definitely looking forward leaving the Indian Ocean behind and starting to sail in the Pacific.
The tracker at 0600 shows us there Charlie Dalin back in the lead, having solved his sail problems, and Yoann Richomme just behind, with Seb Simon positioned just slightly to the north. They're going to be heading slightly away from the ice boundary according to our predictions, which we'll take a look later, which will put them very close to Point Nemo. This is the point which is further from any landmass on the planet. As we go further back in the fleet, we can see that group between 4th and 11th place. Currently in the lead of this group is Thomas Rouillon, almost side by side with Nico Lundven. And there in 11th place we've got Justine Metreau. And in 8th place we have Boris Herman, who has gained another place and is continuing his charge up the leaderboard. There is now quite a large separation all the way to just around Auckland Island, where you can see both Clarice Kramer and Sam Davies, who got locked the other side of this light wind. They didn't manage to carry the front down that Justine Metreau just managed to hang on to. Further back in the fleet we can see that Damien Seguin is the next boat who has made it into the Pacific Ocean. He managed those strong winds he had a few days ago and that broken chain plate that he had, and that is now mostly under control. He took the most southerly option of the boats. If we look in 20th place, we've got Jean Le Cam, who is the leading daggerboard boat but he is now in 20th place, and just in 21st is Benjamin Ferret, who is also a daggerboard boat and averaging 2 knots faster. He's got a little bit of distance to go still, 150 nautical miles to Jean Le Cam, but if he continues at this pace, we may see a change in the daggerboard fleet leaderboard. The ranking shows us there Charlie Dalin in the lead with a 31 nautical mile advantage over Yoann Richomme in second place and 47 nautical miles ahead of Seb Simon in third, who is slightly to the north. When we look down there, we can see between 4th and 10th place now a just over 300 nautical mile gap, but we can see Boris Herman, who has moved up to 8th place. He has just under 100 nautical miles to Yannick Besthaven, who is his next target, but he is travelling over 2 knots faster in the last 24 hours, and he still has over 10,000 nautical miles to go, so there is time to make further gains. As we go down the rankings, we can see there Justine Metreau, who has pulled out now over 700 nautical miles on Clarice Kramer, and Sam Davies, who are the wrong side of that front. And we can see there in 20th and 21st place the 2 leading daggerboard boats so that's a good battle going on there. And in 26th place we've got Conrad Coleman. Richard Gladwell, sailworld.com's New Zealand editor, together with PredictWind, has compiled this routing option for Charlie Dalin. And as we can see, he uses this breeze as it comes in from the west. And then past Point Nemo, he can then use that northwesterly breeze, which will power him all the way across to Cape Horn. And he, with this current prediction, looks like he's going to make it to Cape Horn just ahead of the strong winds on Christmas Eve. When we look at Sébastien Simon, who is just slightly further to the north, we can see he is in lighter winds. He starts off on starboard jibe, but when he goes on to port jibe in those northwesterlies just after Point Nemo, we have to take this a little bit carefully because he doesn't have his starboard foil. We have to think he is probably going to be slower than the polars, which are using a generic foiling model. Now, if he is a bit slower in this journey across to Cape Horn, he could well end up in that strong wind that funnels down that coast on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, a little message for Pip. Just to say, I sent you a message, obviously, when it happened, but just to say again how sorry I am and how sad I am for you after such an amazing race. You'd been sailing your boat so well, and you look like you were having so much fun as well. I know how it feels. I really enjoy this race too, and that just makes it even more sad that you're not here anymore. And just safe trip to Australia. Take care of your boat, and you'll be back. I know it.
Hello and welcome on board the slow boat to Australia. Although having said that, unbelievably, we've done 96 miles in the last 24 hours, which I'm absolutely staggered with. But it has been 35 knots and blowing directly downwind, which is about the best setup. But now I've got some reaching to do, and so we're going to slow up a bit because that's not so easy. Overnight it was big breeze, big waves, and the waves were actually just breaking into the back of the boat, so I had to put kind of like my little dam in place to stop the waves from coming all the way against the cabin door. But yeah, we're in good shape and we've made some good progress. So it's, last time I looked, it was 690 miles to Melbourne, and Melbourne is where we're heading. So on that note, a massive thank you to everyone who has reached out to us from the Australian sailing community and offered help and knowledge, and we are working with a couple of you to coordinate my arrival, which I hope will be in around kind of between 11, 13 days, maybe 12 days, just after Christmas. But yeah, just straight away people offering help, which is incredibly kind, so thank you. I am little bit better with every minute. Haven't done a lot since kind of putting my jury rig up, and that initial flurry of activity. I haven't done a lot. I think I needed to just kind of I guess absorb it all, and I needed the time to really kind of come to terms with what had happened, you know, acknowledging it and I guess accepting it in a way, and so yeah, kind of the last 24 hours I've not been so active, and I've done quite a bit of sleeping, which I guess, you know, is good all round. But moving forwards, I'm fairly determined to keep making inroads into everything every day. Just use this time positively, and I'm thinking a lot about the future. The immediate future, I'm going to pimp up my slow boats, because this setup here, this rig here, is okay for downwind, but it's no good for reaching. And also, I think maybe I could go a bit faster, and I've got a sail down below that I could cut up to maybe make this into a schooner rig, which might be quite exciting. So I'll keep you posted on that. And I'm also thinking about the future, the next project for Pip Hare Ocean Racing, because this is who we are. This is what we do. We've got such a huge base of knowledge and experience. It's definitely time to kind of start thinking about the future, and that's giving me, you know, some hope and perspective. So finally, I want to say a massive thank you to all of you for the incredible messages of just care and support and belief, and how everyone has reacted to this dismasting. It really means the world to me. It's so important to be able to share these things with all of you, and you make it seem okay, you know. You make it a lot easier to manage these difficult times because of your incredible kind words and acceptance and support. I am going to continue sharing updates from the slow boat. If anyone likes slow TV, we're definitely going to have a bit. I'm putting together some videos on how I made the jury rig, and as I said, I'm going to be pimping up my sail area here to see if we can get a bit more speed out of this beast. It's slow TV, but I'm happy to share it all with you. And once again, thank you all.
Thank you for watching today. We'll continue to bring you the news from the Vendée Globe every day throughout the Christmas period. Thank you for all of those who've subscribed so far. If you haven't, then the button down here will allow you to do so. Also, please take a look at sailworld.com and yachtsandyachting.com, where we bring you all the latest news from events around the world in sailing.